your new home for podcasts and original music.
The Zagnif One Radio Network.
Hey gang, how you guys doing? It's your boy Mr. Fingers coming to you live from Zagnif Central, and this is your Week 6 NCAA football preview. We're going to jump right into it with tonight's game. The number 15 team in the country, Coastal Carolina, busy completely dismantling Arkansas State 31-7 late in the third quarter. It's safe to say the Chanticleers will remain undefeated, move on to 6-0 when the clock reads all zeros. More later on that. Moving on to the Friday game. Number 5 Cincinnati is looking to gain more ground on the top 4 teams as they take on Temple. That game is a 7 p.m. kickoff on ESPN. The Bearcats are fresh off a win in South Bend against the Irish that saw them snap Notre Dame's 26-game winning home streak. Bearcats quarterback Desmond Ridder is facing off against UGA transfer DeJuan Mathis, who's thrown for 614 yards and 5 touchdowns in his last 2 starts. Now we're into the Saturday games. Number 1 Bama is traveling to College Station to face the 3-2 Aggies. A&M is still without their starting quarterback Haynes King following his Week 2 ankle injury, but he's slated to return soon though. That kickoff is a late game with an 8 p.m. Eastern start on CBS. The number 2 Dogs face off against Auburn, number 18, in Jordan-Hare for a 3:30 kickoff on CBS. The number 1 Junkyard Dogs defense will see a lot of starter Bo Nix, but will also likely see a goodly amount of sophomore quarterback TJ Finley, who even though he hasn't played a lot, has looked really good. His stat line, 220 yards on just 14 attempts with 2 TDs. Number 4 and number 3 square up as the Nittany Lions travel to Iowa City to face off with the Hawkeyes. This is a must-win for both teams because a loss could mean falling out of the top 5. Kickoff at 4 p.m. on Fox. The Sooners are at number 6, but just kind of hanging on precariously so after a shaky win after West Virginia and a late start offense last week against Kansas State. Still, OU is undefeated and they travel to the Cotton Bowl to take on the number 21 Longhorns in the 116th Red River Shootout. Texas is looking to break the Sooners' 3-game win streak in this rivalry and stop OU's playoff hopes short. Kickoff is at noon on ABC. In Big Ten action, number 7 Ohio State welcomes Maryland to the Horseshoe for another noon kickoff on Fox. Maryland is hoping to really redeem itself after the big loss to Iowa at home last week. Moving on to D2, the Tigers of Savannah State, go Tigers, are going to take on Erskine College at home in Savannah this weekend. Kickoff at TA Wright Stadium is at 6 p.m. The Tigers are hoping to repeat as the SIAC East champions from last season. There's some other games as well this week, but I really wanted to talk to you about something, and it hasn't gained a lot of traction just yet. But Coastal Carolina, as I mentioned earlier, is ranked number 15 as of this week and probably likely to move up another spot, maybe 2, after all the weekend games are done. This week, I want to talk to you about a team that I like to call currently the best team in South Carolina. With Clemson having an offseason and the Gamecocks have not really been able to recover after the firing of head coach Will Muschamp, the Chanticleers have emerged as a bright spot in low-country college football. The ragtag bunch from the Sun Belt Conference posted a program-best 11-1 record last year. With the crowning win of the season, it was a 22-17 victory over then number 11 BYU in 2020. Last year, they ranked 18th overall in points per game scored at 37.2, and this year they currently rank 2nd out of 130 teams with 48.2 points per game. Sophomore quarterback Grayson McCall has passed for 3,601 yards since last season with 36 TDs and only 4 interceptions over 17 games. His favorite target Senior Javon Healy is on pace to have a 1,000-yard season this year. Now, there's a few people who will say, yeah, but who have they played? Check this out, though. At the end of the day, if any program can go out and beat everybody that they face, and it looks like they're going to do the same thing again this year, then they have made a serious accomplishment. Now, there's a lot of top-tier programs in bigger conferences, to include the one my favorite team plays in, that can't make that happen consistently. Fourth-year coach Janie Chadwell has appeared to have found a formula to keep his players motivated and ready to play week in and week out. Boop! Oh, we got a breaking update since the beginning of this broadcast. Coastal Carolina has pulled the starters out now, and it is now 45-20 in the fourth quarter with just under 10 minutes left to play. So, to the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina, the best team in South Carolina, salute. We got some new segments coming your way. Be sure to tune in when we break those out. In week 6, we'll start discussing the front-running candidates for the Heisman Trophy and what we will call the keys to the Heisman house. And we'll start talking about coaches whose jobs are at this point not as stable as they were when the season began. Are those guys on the hot seat? Absolutely not. Those coaches are. Hey, folks, that does it for this week's football preview. Be sure to visit the Zagnif One YouTube page and like and subscribe. I am Mr. Fingers from Zagnif Central, and I am OUT out. Holla.
Be sure to like and subscribe for content and more
On your new home for podcasts and independent music.
on the Zagnif One Radio Network.